There's free speech and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
My position is that even hate speech should be completely and totally allowed in our country. The most disgusting speech should absolutely be protected.
I would say, well, she will be, you won't be, get out.
You share more in common. You share more with somebody across the aisle than with a billionaire donor or some media executive pretending to speak for you.
Okay, guys, something is off in this country, and I'm not going to shut up about it. We are being played, okay? Both sides are playing us, and half the people shouting the loudest, they're the elites who profit every time we fight each other. Now, I want to be very straight with you, very frank. I like Donald Trump. I like Donald Trump a lot. I respect what he's done for this country. I've seen him fight. I've seen him get attacked, and he's always just came out on top. I love that about him. He didn't let these people take him down. But can we not kid ourselves and say he is still an elite? He's a part of the same club that runs the game, and that is the bigger point. This isn't about picking sides. It's about noticing who is cashing in while we're distracted. Now, I'm not saying that Donald Trump is the one that's cashing in. I'm just saying that he is very rich, which makes him an elite. And then we have our politicians that are gaslighting us. The media manufactures outrage. Influencers turn pain into profit. And before anybody twists my words, I'm not blaming any country or group. Yes, that includes Israel. I am asking questions like who actually benefit when these stories push us to hate each other, okay? Instead of us worrying about like why our grocery bills are so high or why we can't afford anything in this country. They want the right to hate the left to hate the right. And while we're busy brawling with each other, they sit back with the money and the power. And yeah, the left has been radicalized like a lot. They're hateful, they're violent, and they've become essentially programmed. And some of them won't ever snap out of it because most of us, we see what's going on. But are we going to help them or are we going to help the people at the top? That is the question. Because the truth is, our power isn't numbers, not in attaching ourselves to the elite, not in putting celebrities on the pedestal. Our power is in us, the people, refusing to play their game. That is actually how we win. And that's exactly what we need to be doing. Mapping out the players, looking at the timing, pulling the receipts, exposing who's really profiting. Because trust me, it is not you and it is not me. Let's go ahead and take a look at this video I found on X, which kind of makes what I'm trying to say a little bit more clearer. Go ahead and take a listen.
The minute that your ideas require violence to enforce or spread, they are already completely bankrupt. Every tyrant, every failed ideology, every social collapse starts the exact same way. The debate dies, then violence takes the place of debate. And you can't argue with a gun. You can only kill with it. And when killing is the substitute for a conversation, society as a whole starts falling off a cliff. And we all, myself included, we all have been sold the biggest con of our entire life. And this is that the problem is left versus right, or Republicans versus Democrats. And that is the distraction fireworks show that they want us screaming about while they're doing something else. And if you turned on cable news today, you go in your living room, turn it on, maybe you scroll social media, what are you gonna see? The absolute fringe. They're going to show you the loudest, dumbest, most cartoonish people from the other side blasted in your face 24/7. You're not being shown your neighbor or your coworker or the mom next door who votes differently. You're being shown a bunch of professional lunatics that are handpicked to make you think one thing. And the one big thing that they want you to think is, oh my God, these people are insane. They are the enemy. That's the reason that we're going downhill. And none of this is an accident. This is word for word textbook psychological operations. And military psyops manuals literally describe how you isolate a target audience, then you pump them full of a bunch of outrage, you create a tribal us versus them identity. This is straight out of a psyops textbook. So why would we want to do this? Or why would psyops want to do this? Because once you're locked into tribal thinking, you're going to swallow anything. You're going to believe any lie about the other side. You're going to cheer when other people suffer. You'll excuse things that you would never excuse in your own neighborhood if you watched it right in front of you and it was one of your neighbors. This is exactly the playbook on how you get otherwise decent, kind people laughing at a murder on the internet. That is how you radicalize a country without firing a shot. And let me tell you something that you're not supposed to think about right now. You share more in common, you share more with somebody across the aisle than with a billionaire donor or some media executive pretending to speak for you. I don't think they want you to see that. They need you divided. They have to have you blind and full of rage, because a united, sane, connected public is the one thing that they actually fear.
And that right there, my friends, is the name of the game. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I am Carmen JC. If you're new here, make sure you hit the like or the subscribe button. If you want to support the channel, hit the super thanks or the buy me a coffee link below. Let's go ahead and get into it. So after Charlie Kirk's death, the biggest thing that I am noticing, this was already an issue already, is that there is a straight up attack on free speech. This isn't like left versus right. Both sides are guilty. We're dealing with people who are calculated, connected, and 10 steps ahead of all of us, okay? They know more than we know. And that means that if we don't learn how to spot the game, we're already playing from behind, okay? Now, let me lay this out for you. Shortly after Charlie Kirk's murder, 250 of our U.S. legislators, 5 from each state, were flown out to Israel for 4 days. They called it 50 States, 1 Israel. And no, I did not make this name up. This is an actual name. So what is the main agenda here? The main agenda is anti-BDS laws. BDS stands for Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions. It's a movement that pushes people and businesses to stop doing business with Israel as a form of protest against government policies. Now, anti-BDS laws are state laws that basically say if you boycott Israel, you could be punished like losing state contracts or funding. But here's the problem. Between 35 and 38 states have already passed anti-BDS laws. So why the heavy lobbying? Why keep pushing this? Who has benefited from locking down criticism of a foreign government when Americans can't even afford eggs? And what's even weirder is almost zero news coverage, okay? You think that flying out legislators from all 50 states would be a headline. But no, just a couple scattered articles, no major outlets touch it. Like, I'm talking nothing. You can find nothing on this as far as in video news coverage, almost like they don't want you to know what's happening. But don't worry, they sent out Rep. Mike Huckabee to spoon feed us the reasoning. Let's go ahead and take a listen to this clip.
This is a nation that is the most resilient I've ever seen on earth. It may sound a little bit this afternoon as if I'm almost speaking on behalf of Israel rather than the U.S., but I want to explain that part of my advocacy in our relationship is because if you came to my house tonight for dinner and you came in and you said, "Oh, Mike, we like you. We really think the world of you. We just enjoy being with you. We're so excited to be here with you and have dinner with you. But your wife, we can't stand her. We don't like her a bit. I hope she's not going to be at the table." I would say, well, she will be. You won't be. Get out. Because if you were to insult my partner, you have insulted me.
Now, he says America is basically married to Israel. If you support the U.S., you must support Israel. And I'm just like, okay, married, when did we get married? Like, when did this happen? I didn't get an RSVP card. I didn't get one. Did you guys get one? Because I did not. And if you guys kind of think that that is a stream, listen to this. Congressman Brian Mast even tried sneaking in language into a bill that would allow American passports to be taken away if they criticize Israel. Yes, you heard that right. Criticizing Israel, you lose your passport. He since had to walk it back, but the fact that this was even on the table is outrageous. So yes, this is all about free speech. I don't care which government is doing the infringing. I care about that they're doing it. And if they can take away our rights to speak on Israel, what else will they take away from us tomorrow? What other rights will they take away if we can't speak on Israel? Because once they take them, you never get them back. I need everybody to understand this. No matter how much you hate the left or how much you hate the right, you give up your rights, they're gone. Vamonos, you don't get them anymore. Okay? Now, if you guys remember that Hamptons meetup I told you about in a previous episode, which wasn't a sleepover, some of those same influencers who showed up there flew out to Israel in August, which was organized. Now, to be clear, these influencers together have millions of followers. That's why they were there. Like, they are put there so they can be in front of millions of eyeballs pushing a narrative. Okay, that is the strategy. They literally said it, recruit influencers to shape stories. Now, let's take Xavier in particular. He posted about 40 pro-Israel posts since August. This is not an accident. This is intentional. And just look at the imagery that they put out there. The stage photo ops, the helmets, all designed to show you the good side of it. Like, Who in their right mind would want to go hang out in an active war zone where at any moment a bomb could drop on your head? These people are there to shape how you think. And like I said, this is influence operation 101. Pick the people with the followers, stage it, and watch the message spread. Not to mention, Michael Huckabee, once again, was a part of this too. And that just connects the dots. You know, it's all tied together. All these difficult situations are connected in some way, shape, or form. And this is why you cannot call people crazy for asking questions. Like, I think the smart people are the people that are asking questions. Like, what is going on here? All right, so Pam Bondi did an interview recently, and apparently she's out here using language like hate speech. Since when did conservatives start borrowing leftist vocabulary to justify new rules? It's just amazing. Now, we're recycling leftist arguments to push legislation, not to mention the optics. It is convenient for people who want to police speech. Let's go ahead and take a listen to Pam Bondi in her own words. Take a listen.
There's free speech and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle.
Now, she brings up Charlie Kirk, but let's be clear, Charlie Kirk didn't sign off on hate speech lawfare. So let's go ahead and take a listen to what Charlie Kirk actually thought about hate speech. Take a listen.
Society.
My position is that even hate speech should be completely and totally allowed in our country. The most disgusting speech should absolutely be protected. And it's not a viewpoint that is held by the left. The ACLU used to hold this viewpoint. The American Civil Liberties Union, they sued so that legitimate Nazis could march through downtown Skokie. You remember this? Back in the 80s and 90s? Now, why would the ACLU do this? Because they said as soon as you use the word hate, that is a very subjective term. Because then all of a sudden it is in the eyes or it is in the implementation of whomever has the power.
Now, reporters even asked Donald Trump about it. Of course they did. Let's go ahead and take a listen to Donald Trump's response to this hate speech stuff. Go ahead and take a listen.
And what do you make Pam Bondi saying she's going to go after hate speech? Is that, I mean, a lot of your allies say hate speech is free speech.
You'd probably go after people like you because you treat me so unfairly. It's hate. You have a lot of hate in your heart. Maybe they'll come after ABC. Well, ABC paid me $16 million recently for a form of hate speech, right? Your company paid me $16 million for a form of hate speech. So maybe they'll have to go after you. Look, we want everything to be fair. It hasn't been fair. And the radical left has done tremendous damage to the country. But we're fixing it. We have right now the hottest country anywhere in the world.
All right, so here's what I want you guys to hear. This isn't about one person being canceled. It isn't about one show, one joke. To me, it's like they're pushing speech laws, okay? And they're using us to do it. They're like, okay, look what they said over there. And you don't like the left, so you're like, yeah, what Jimmy Kimmel said was wrong. He should be canceled. And then on the left, they're like, yeah, you know, Charlie Kirk deserved to die because of what he said. No, we have to be able to speak freely. We have to be able to articulate our thoughts. Like, I don't agree with what Jimmy Kimmel said. Do I think that he should have been fired? I don't know. Probably not. You know, I've heard like news sources say worse things. I just think that they're using that to keep us outraged. Okay. And the same thing with firing all of the people that were talking about Charlie Kirk. They all got fired. And it's like, this is over speech. Okay. So they're radicalizing us by making this just so outrageous that we're like, yeah, we don't want them to be able to say it. We don't want them to be able to say it. And when no one is able to say anything, that's when it affects all of us, not just a single person. Now, to be clear, whether it's Donald Trump saying something wild or the left weaponizing a comedian, our speech is more important than any one person. Once they take those rights from us, we don't get them back. That's the point. That's the whole game. You let them take it for one crowd, and trust me, it comes back around. So we shouldn't play their game. We call out bad speech when it needs to be called out. Accountability isn't the same as censorship, but we have to refuse handing over blanket power to police expression, because handing over that power guarantees they'll use it on you next. That is not the American way, and we should all be worried enough to say enough is enough. Now, I want to address something because I think it's quite insane. I'm all over the internet watching people like Alex Jones, Nick Fuentes, and other people who built their whole brands on shouting Israel this and Israel that. Their whole playbook trains people to see Israel as the answer to everything, years of conditioning and every dot connecting back to the same place. Now, the second their audience uses the same logic on Charlie Kirk's death, suddenly the tone flips. No, impossible. You're obsessed. You're dumb for thinking that. That is gaslighting. It is a hypocrisy. You told people to look under every rock, and when they do exactly that, you flip them and belittle them. Amazing how that works. This is exactly what they're trying to do to Candace Owens, a straight up smear campaign as if curiosity is a crime. Now, to be clear, questioning a government that lies constantly is not lunacy. If your spouse lied to you all the time and then suddenly told you something, you would question it too. That is not paranoia. That is logic. To label someone off their rockers for investigating what happened to their friend is dishonest. And quite frankly, I think it's disgusting, especially when the same government just told us Epstein didn't have any victims. There was no list. And Ghislaine Maxwell is just sitting in prison for nothing, I guess. Apparently, I don't know. This is just unbelievable. Meanwhile, our legislators are flying overseas to prioritize Israel while our own country is in shambles, okay? New laws are being drafted to censor speech and silence criticism, and influencers are mocking their own audience for following the very logic that they've been pushed into in the first place. I'm very confused by this. Now, I'm not saying that Israel had anything to do with Charlie Kirk's death. What I'm saying is the contradictions and the timings are impossible to ignore, because the real point is, it's not about whether you agree with every theory. It's about who get to ask questions and who gets silenced. They don't want scrutiny. They want obedience. The tactic is simple: shame the curious and praise the quiet. And that's exactly what we should be worried about, because when asking questions become dangerous, you know you're not living in a free country anymore. I am Carmen JC. If you got something out of this episode, make sure you hit the like or the subscribe button. Or if you want to support the channel, hit the super thanks or the buy me a coffee link below. I love you guys, and I will see you guys next time.
Conscious culture, we awaken and we learn. Fire in our spirits, watch the system as it burns. Question every lesson, let the real truth return. We break the mold, and now it's our turn.